Hey students, I hope you all are doing good today. Last week we started a series called Atypical where we're talking about family. And last week we talked about the fact that we all know probably very well, and it's that all families are messy. No family is perfect, but the good news is that God uses imperfect, messy families. And so this week we're talking about one of those families from the Bible in particular, and that's the family of Abraham. You've probably heard his name before, especially if you've grown up in church, but Abraham had a nephew named Lot. And in Genesis chapter 13, we start to see that their relationship was a little strained at times. They didn't get along very well and even decided to live in different cities. I don't know if you've ever had that experience in your family where people disagree so much that they have to move, but that's what happened with Abraham and Lot. They had disagreements, they didn't get along very well, and so they separated. And then we see in Genesis chapter 18 something interesting. It's the story that may be familiar to you about Sodom and Gomorrah. And so God had decided to destroy these cities because of their sin, but there was a complicating factor for Abraham, and it's that Lot was in one of these cities. And even though that they had disagreements, they moved apart from each other, they didn't necessarily like each other all the time, Abraham responded in a very atypical or unusual way. He prayed for Lot. He ultimately was praying that if God could find just a few righteous people in the city, that he wouldn't destroy it. But in the back of his mind, he had to be thinking, how can I save my nephew Lot? And so that's the main idea for today, is that atypical families pray for each other. Now, I don't know if your family is in that habit or not, but it can be kind of weird at first. If your family doesn't make a normal practice of praying for each other, I won't lie to you, it can be kind of weird, but I will tell you that over time, it will become something that you are so thankful for. And so my challenge for you this week is to pray for the members of your family, but I would also encourage you to pray with the members of your family. I know that your parents would love nothing more than to pray with you. And so that's my challenge for you. Pray for your families and pray with your families, because even though we have disagreements, we don't get along perfectly all the time, even though families are messy, at the end of the day, we can love them because Jesus first loved us. You know, Romans 5:10 tells us that God loved us even when we were his enemies. Even when we were his enemies, Christ loved us. And so even when we feel like our families are our enemies, we have no excuse as followers of Jesus not to love them. So that's my challenge for you this week. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.